Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of The Blitz, courtesy of WEOL AM 930 and, of course, FM 100.3 and the Chronicle Telegram as we put it together in the Chronicle Telegram studios. Tim Alcorn with WEOL and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Matt Douglass with WEOL.
I'll say it now. Congratulations, Mr. Alcorn. We got the good word on Monday. Couldn't be happier. It couldn't happen to a better guy.
Well, it certainly is, as you hear the cheers from Bruce Bishop in the background, because he's thrilled that he doesn't have to look at my ugly face on that camera anymore. But
free ticket. We know people, right? Now.
No, it's very humbling, and I'm looking forward to it. But there will always be a part of me that will be in Lorain County and high school sports, be it football that we talk about here on the Blitz, and of course basketball, wrestling with Sean Bennett, baseball and softball. So I'll still be around. I'll still be knocking around some football stadiums and basketball gymnasium, and of course the Diamonds.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing you. I can tell you that for sure on AM 930, 100.3 FM this year when you're covering the Cavs. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, well, let's do what we do on this show every week, which is talk high school football. That's what the Blitz is all about. So let's get right into it. Kind of a mediocre week for the county as far as week 4 was concerned. Lorain County ended up going 7-9. Boy, there were a couple of real tough losses in there. Elyria High gave up over 70 points and losing to Mentor. And Matt, I think we have to touch on a little bit the scenario that unfolded over at Lorain, sure. A very unfortunate scenario where the game was halted in the third quarter. There was a fracas out on the field, and obviously you just hate to see that happen in any sort of environment. Nonetheless, a high school athletic environment.
Well, you never want to see a game end early because of fighting. I think it was stated well in the Chronicle Telegram by a couple of the heads of Lorain saying, look, our players weren't as much involved, but the officials have to do their thing. You're never going to put a youngster's life in any kind of jeopardy, and they decided that they had enough kids on the field. They didn't want it going any further, so they decided to call the game. I think it was the right move, and hopefully this is a learning experience. As Coach Dave McFarland said, hopefully this is a learning experience for those young men. Hopefully what's said is accurate, that not many of the Lorain players, or any, were involved in actually throwing punches or kicks, but a majority of them were suspended for this upcoming game against Toledo Scott because they walked onto the field, and by OHSAA rule, if you're on the sideline and enter the field to play when you're not supposed to be there, it's an automatic ejection.
Yep. So as Matt said, and very well so, let's hope the players learned a lesson, the community learned a lesson, but as Matt also said, certainly not all the blame goes to Lorain and to the community and the school district, and of course the OHSAA. They will sort that all out. One more thing about looking back to week 4. Boy, what a game between Keystone and Clearview. We had that game on WEOL. I was the only guy that had Keystone in the Chronicle Telegram picket line, but huge win for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that was noted. I'll make mention in our post game by Don Griswold, the head coach of the Keystone Wildcats. No, it was a heck of a game by the Wildcats. Look, I mean, expectations were high on them. I think people initially thought Bay was maybe having a down year after that original game Keystone played in. They lost by 6. They should have won it, had a touchdown called back. But I've seen Bay. They beat Elyria Catholic. They've won their last 2 games. Bay's a for-real team. Their defense is still very good, and for Keystone to hang with them, I think is very impressive. I think the Keystone Wildcats are for real. I think they have to be the favorite now in the Lorain County League. I do like the parity in that league. It is still very thick. They could get caught off guard, but I think if they lose, it's going to be one of those they made too many mistakes or penalties kind of hold them back.
No doubt, but a huge win for the Keystone Wildcats, and we'll see if Clearview can recover. One other note, Amherst still is now 4-0 on the year. Avon 4-0 on the year. Of course, Amherst with a big game this week against Olmsted Falls.
Without a doubt. This is becoming one of those rivalries. Yes. I mean, with Amherst going into this same situation last year, undefeated, going into Olmsted Falls to take on the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs came out victorious. We'll see what happens this time around. I mean, Olmsted Falls knows that Amherst wants to be considered in the top tier of that SWC, and I don't think the Bulldogs are ready to relinquish that title quite yet.
I would agree. So we've talked about some of the big wins and some of the teams that did well, and that segues right into our next segment, which is our Team of the Week. And the Team of the Week brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. So Matt Douglass and I, we kind of chat before we roll here, and we come up with our First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week. And Matt brought up a very interesting point as far as football and a Team of the Week. how often do you get a team of the week that won 2 games in a week?
I can't remember a time. I've talked to the coach of the team that is our team of the week as well, and he says he can't remember a time he's ever done. So congratulations to Scott O'Donnell and the rest of the Brookside Cardinals. 2 wins. Monday, they beat JFK. On Friday, they went out and they beat Oberlin. Very impressive performances. And, again, the team's now 2-2, and they got both wins in the same week. So that's why they're our team of the week.
When you start the week 0-2 and you end the week 2-2, that's a good week.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
So, again, congratulations goes out to the Brookside Cardinals. They are the First Federal Savings of Lorraine team of the week, and deservedly so, with a 2-0 week last week. All right, Matt, let's look ahead to this Friday, this weekend. Boy, the halfway point of the year already. I can't believe we're talking about week number 5. Some big games on the docket. We mentioned Old Falls and Amherst, 2 4-0 teams going at it. And that great rivalry, Avon and Midview.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that one turns out. Midview used to have Avon's number a couple years ago. Since then, they've kind of fallen, but they seem to be back up this year. I know I talked to DJ Shaw last week. He said he wanted to get his offense going, and last week, lo and behold, I think they put up 40 points. Zach Gill had a tremendous outing. I think he ended with 3 or 4 touchdown receptions, big yards. So it looks like that offense is trying to get back to where they have been in the past.
Well, you mentioned Zach Gill.
I did.
So there's another natural segue because we talked about Avon and Midview. Well, we've been giving you the top 2 from these 2 for the past few weeks on our Blitz program. So it's time to get into our top 2 from these 2. And I'll start off because with Avon and Midview playing this Friday night, my top 2 from last Friday night were Avon and Midview players. And you mentioned Zach Gill. So my first top player, Zach Gill, from the Midview Middies. What a ball game for Zach Gill. 10 receptions. He caught 10 passes, 162 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 1 on the ground. He was a stalwart on defense. He also had an interception. Zach Gill, certainly one of my top 2. And the other player that's in the top 2 for me, Nick Perusik from Avon. Boy, how often have you heard that man's name on this program? He has just been a star for Avon. One of his offensive linemen, I think it was Tommy Lawrence, said last week, he's not human. He does things that even when the offensive line breaks down, he makes a play out of it. Nick Perusik last week only played in the first half because Avon just had a huge lead in the ball game. And in the first half alone, Nick Perusik last week for the Eagles, 161 total yards and 3 touchdowns.
Pretty impressive.
In 2 quarters of football.
Wow.
So from this guy, that's my top 2. Your top 2 from last week?
Hard to argue with that, but I think I've got a pair who are very deserving as well. We already talked about the Brookside Cardinals playing 2 games in just a week. Well, in that second game against Oberlin, running back Kenny Grobelek, impressive performance, 185 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns as he helped the Brookside Cardinals knock off the Oberlin Phoenix. And what was a close game, 26-20, I believe, with the final of that one. And then I'm going to go back over to Keystone. We've had Jacob Shackelford before in our top 2. I'm going to go with his brother this time. The freshman getting the job done. 4 receptions in the game, 71 yards, but more importantly, 3 touchdowns for the Keystone Wildcats in another close game. I know the score of that one was 26-20. That's pulling on a young guy when you need him, and Ryan Shackelford stepped up to the plate, and dare I say, it was a home run pitch, bro. He knocked that one out of the park. Just an impressive performance by the freshman, and Kenny Grobelek as well for the Brookside Cardinals. The way they were playing, I couldn't go with anybody else but those 2. So those are my 2.
There you go. So that's the top 2 from these 2 as far as last week's high school football was concerned. All right, let's pivot back to this Friday and what we'll have covered on WEOL and on the WEOL mobile app and online. It's going to be a busy night. I'm calling high school football on Friday night. I'll be over at Knights of Columbus Field at Elyria Catholic High School. Panthers looking to bounce back. Boy, they had a real war against Buckeye last Friday night. But, boy, Jacob Durgee, a Buckeye, ran the ball 34 times for 200-plus yards. EC couldn't slow him down. Well, we'll see if they can bounce back and get a win this Friday against the Padua Bruins over at Knights of Columbus Field. Again, I'll have that game on the radio. Rob Polinsky will be over at North Ridgeville. It'll be Avon Lake at North Ridgeville in our WEOL.com and WEOL mobile app Stream 2 game. And then, Matt, we're really excited about the Medina County matchup.
Yeah, how can you not be? I mean, this is two of the top teams, I think, in the area. Strongsville traveling to Brunswick. Brunswick coming off a close loss last week to Solon. It was their first of the season, so they're 3-1 heading into Friday night. And then their opponent, the Strongsville Mustangs, 4-0, undefeated. It's a battle of powers. That GCC conference is a monster, and these are two teams that are going to surprise some folks, I think, at the end of the season.
So again, a busy night of football coverage on WEOL. Again, AM 930 and 100.3 FM on the mobile app, and of course, online at WEOL.com. Matt Douglass, it's been a pleasure, man.
It's been a blast.
It's been a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to listening to some of those Cavs games here coming up, Tim.
So, of course, thanks to Matt, thanks to Bruce Bishop, thanks to everybody here at the CT as we operate out of the Chronicle Telegram studios. Biggest thanks goes to you each and every week for watching. We've enjoyed it tremendously, and until we talk again, so long, everybody.